And welcome aboard active traders to this week's episode of Trading Week Ahead with over 5,600 people registered, almost 5,700. We're record new high attendance and a really big turnout this morning, so good to see y'all here and good smart questions. Hey, thanks, Steve. Yeah, tell Harry I said hi. I like Harry. He's the other great breakout trader. I'm a big fan of Harry Boxer. He's a great stock picker. He's really great. He's phenomenal. Anyways, welcome aboard to our live Trading Week Ahead broadcast. Let's get underway. As always, all information is for educational use only. I'm not making advice about what to buy, sell, or hold. I'm Ken Calhoun, and it's Saturday, and it's summer, and it's getting hot, so we're looking for real trade wins. Let's jump into it already and get focused. Stock market's dropping here. 3,000's a key support resistance level. Again, until evidence shows to the contrary, this is a false breakout S&P, right? False breakout over the 3,000. Just enough to get the newbies in, and then it crashed and burned yesterday, right? So fake out, not. So if it's like, hey, wake me if we get north of 30.20, all right, and we could do that. It's in an uptrend, but we may well be due for a pullback down to the 2,900 level on the 50 SMA. So we'll see, but we do have a bearish engulfment here. I don't know if that's technically bearish engulfing because it's not at a high, but it's at least a big red candle telling me sellers are on board yesterday. So when we're looking for trade setups, you want to develop a trading plan based on where directional volatility is the strongest. Now, if we drill down, if we take a look at the broad market, the first thing that jumps out to me is that our VIX was up over 8% yesterday. That's a bearish sign to coincide with the stock market dropping. From a sector standpoint, and again, this is no surprise, our gold sector is by far the strongest lead sector. Semiconductors are coming back to life, but for the most part, it's gold's party and we're all just invited. So gold sector has been the strongest sector of the bunch. If you look at some of the other sectors out there, like the semiconductors, they're slight uptrend, but not really exciting. Finance and banking and insurance. Insurance is slowing down here the last couple of weeks. And our NBI biotech sector is also in a heap of trouble. So the only thing that's getting some love in the stock market right now is our gold sector, and it's taking out new highs. So that's an exciting chart. I'm curious, how many of you have traded gold stocks or ETFs lately or are giving it some thought? You know, for example, if you're one of my small cap scans members, I've been calling the Eldorado Gold for the last 3 weeks now, and it's been running up nicely from 5 to 8. Huge percentage gain for anybody that is a small cap scans member and correctly played that. Plenty of other instruments out there, like our favorite gold ETF, NUGT. Really good dramatic run all the way from down here near 15 up to 36. So it's near tripled lately, and we've got increasing large whole red body candles despite a kind of a quiet day yesterday. WPM, okay, that one I'm not familiar. Hey, thanks Phil for Ego, yeah. Let's see, when we're looking to see if there's any other questions here. Nope, I think that's it. Yeah, good point, Bob. Oh, all day. No, I'm not gonna. I don't trade all. I often trade all day long, but I do badly when I trade after 11 usually. So it takes a lot of discipline for me to close the workstation down at 11. But I found, as has been the case for 20 years, when I go back over my wins versus my stops, my best winning trades are done by 10:15, and my stop losses are all frequently between 11 and 2. So I try to not trade all day long. Now let's take a look at some really good charts. BTI was a favorite for our live room members back on Thursday because of its nice clean breakout. eBay was a good play too, both on the breakout initially and the short. I tried unsuccessfully to bottom fish it here and there, and I think I had one small but insignificant winning trade on the bounce here. I was trying to catch a bottom because often if you see a gap up, we got a correct long call. I got my traders in at 41.40 out at 41.85. That was a live call for eBay on Thursday, and that was a nice gap continuation. And then the short trigger is 40.6, which is good if anyone took that because it dropped all the way down to here. But overall, I muffed it on eBay. I traded unsuccessfully eBay trying to buy the bounce there. So I thought surely it's right near the whole number 40, so that might provide support. And it did for a little bit. If I were to follow my rules and just take the one trade of the day that I should have taken, it would have been the bounce off the previous day's low, support off the whole number 39. So long at 39.20 would have worked into the close with resistance right under 40. But anyway, these kind of charts with big ranges and highly volatile, potentially lucrative trade setups are the ones you want to focus your energy on, right? BTI, the other one. Nugget was here too as well. So Nugget had a good breakout on Thursday. And again, this highlights the whole thing about usually after a big candle day like Thursday, you often see a resting candle day like we saw on Friday. So do not overtrade. One of the things that I found is very valuable is going to be skeptical about trading the day after a big run. And that's very valuable information because a lot of times, especially the small caps, they can look appealing if it ran from like $3 to $6 or $3 to $5 and we're on the day after and it's down at a low trying to bounce. But usually those don't work out. So don't be a bounce trader unless you've got a very specific reason for the entry. And that eBay example was a good one, off the whole number. What else do we have to give some thought to this week? I'm hesitant to buy new breakouts in gold until after a pullback. And I'll tell you the reason why. Whether you look at Nugget or GDX or GLD or any of the ETFs, the price action has been about yay tall before it pulls back and drops and chops. From a price projection standpoint, we've gone up about as far in this leg of the run as we had in the earlier run. So we may be getting close to resistance and we may be ready to slow down. So for that reason, I'm looking for some of the counter trend entries in instruments like Dust, which have been really decimated lately. I don't want to catch a falling knife, but instruments that now look oversold may be good for pivot. So Dust is on the radar. UGAZ is my other, those are my three favorite bounce ETF or ETNs are Dust, take a look at this chart. This is UGAZ, the stock formerly known, or ETF formerly up at whatever 200 a share, now on sale for a fraction of that. So UGAZ is one of my favorites. Dust is another favorite for bounce play. I think there's potentially some money to be made on pivots in this. How many of you agree with me? I'm just curious. Am I right or wrong with this? Time will tell. Usually I don't get it right the first time, but eventually I make it right as a trader. That highlights the value of re-entering positions. I frequently get stopped out daily, but I don't let that deter me because frequently I'll turn, like I did yesterday. I forgot which chart it was, but I got stopped out on the initial bounce, but made it back and then profited on the secondary move up in an instrument because I finally got it right. So re-entering. But how many of you think Dust may be good for a pivot? Now, it may keep dropping down to 3 or 4 a share. I don't know. I don't predict, I react. But I look for directional volatility and I look for pivots. Now, there's no evidence that I don't see a hammer. I don't see a bullish engulfing. I don't see any basing pattern in Dust. But at some point, I'm sure it'll be a good buy. And again, for tips on how to trade these, be sure to join my swing scans and live room and all the rest of my services because not only am I really trading these, but I give you insights. what I like, specific patterns and the rest of it. What I like about TVIX here is you kind of zoom in to the 3-month. You can see it's trying to form a base here near the 1415. I'm always, for pivots, I'm always looking for the ratio of green to red candles, and I see if it's able to break out above new whole numbers. So that one makes sense as well. Well, a lot of you. Oh, appreciate it. Wow, looks good. Waited for the bottom to be established. Still a dropping knife and dust. Maybe dust. You guys will reverse. Thanks for all the comments. Well, thanks, Peter. Heads up on ions. Let's take a look. I always like to pull up new charts. That one I don't think I'm familiar with ions. It doesn't sound familiar. No, I wouldn't trade that. The range doesn't have enough volatility. But thanks for mentioning it. I agree it might be an okay play over 71, but it doesn't have the point range that I like. I like charts that go, how to say, as opposed to that kind of chart, I like that kind of chart. Or this kind of chart. GDX has been especially good too lately for another gold ETF. Anyway, lots of good plays out there, lots of money to be made, and one of the things that I think can help is, of course, join my services if you want a lot of training to see exactly what to do and how to do it. But start off with some of the thoughts that I gave you here this week, and I hope that it helps you with your trade setups. Let me know if any questions. Let's see what I think will happen with Micron on Monday. Hey, Carrie, I have no idea. It'll go up and down. Of course, he's saying smart ass. Of course, I don't predict. I'm a trader. It's what I do. It's more likely to go up if the if-then conditional rack would be, I'll likely buy this myself if it gets north of 46.30. I'm not going to short this because it's a strong trend. I might day trade it for long if it gets over 46.30. That's as far as I'm thinking about it, right? And that's assuming if it opens up under 46. But it's been a really good performer for us lately. Both Micron and AMD have been good semiconductor plays for our live room members at Trading the Open. And again, I've ran Trading the Open since the year 2000, so I'm a very old timer, Learn from people like Harry Boxer and myself and Steve Nissen and Tom Sosnoff and other people with credibility and experience that actually know what we're talking about. There's a lot of very energetic 30-something young guys out there on social media doing a really energetic job, and my hat's off to them for all the work they do. They're constantly feeding Instagram and all the rest of it, and I don't have the energy for that. I like to make money. I don't like to post on social all the time, but anyway, the point is, when it comes to learning from people, learn from people with authenticity and integrity and experience and the rest of it. The young people, I admire their energy, but they don't have the depth of experience. So they're entertaining, though. I'll give them that. They are a bit entertaining. Let's see. What else do we have to go on? Let's see, any questions? Let me know. Hey, Guillermo, yeah, question about, can I mention the stocks as to see what the ticker is for these? Look in the quote box over here in this area. I totally agree. This is way too small to see. The little teeny tiny microscopic font. So look over here. If you're looking for the charts that I'm covering for you guys, it'll be highlighted in this kind of like a white box around the ticker. So yeah, don't bother trying to read it up here. That's too small. And there's no way to change that. I have no way to. That's not a user definable characteristic to make a bigger font. Though I would put, like, some of the charting platforms have superimposed the ticker in the middle, I think, and that's easier to see. But just look at the whatever's highlighted. All right, what else? And TJ, yes, I do trade outside of normal hours. Gold stocks, yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah, GY, yeah, AU, AEM, there's AUY, Yamana, there's small caps and mid caps and ETFs in the gold sector have been strong. But again, we're late cycle gold. We're late cycle. So what I'd want to, my tip of the week for gold plays is, as long as it keeps going up, we buy, right? That's what we do. We're traders. If it keeps going up, we buy. However, because we're late cycle, it's been running up for so long, it's kind of due for a pullback or due for a rollover or at least a consolidation period. So I will take new trades up at new highs, but on small size. I might do 20, 30, 40, 50 shares. So that way I've got more space for a trailing stop without it costing me much. But what I want to see is kind of like the equivalent on day trading when you want to see a bull flag. You get the flagpole, a pullback, you want to enter right above that. Well, here in these late cycle breakouts, you don't want to just blindly chase it and buy up at a new high. What you want to see is tested by sellers with a pullback and then a resumption of the uptrend. And you can buy in that region or buy up at a new high. So because the gold instruments have been running up so far, this is good strategic intel. I will trade them. I trade what goes up. It's what I do. But I'm going to do small share size, and I'm probably going to wait until after a pullback before entering. That's valuable intel because you want to avoid getting false breakouts. All right. Well, good to see all of you here. It's likely going to be a hot summer day today here on the 20th. Let's see, I think that's it. Question was, oops. Yeah, I don't see any other sectors other than gold as an isolated one. Hey, Phil. Hey, thanks, TJ. I'm trying. Great to see so many new members. I got a lot of people that took me up on the all access pass offers. Yeah, that's a good chart. I don't have any objections to that. PAAS, that's a nice chart. What I like about it, kind of a poker tell, is often if you visually see a large green candle bisect one of the major moving averages, the 50, the 100, or the 200 SMA, often that'll lead to new breakouts. So, and what's neat about this setup, I always try and see if there's a teachable moment. If we could get in a TARDIS, actually I was disappointed with the most recent season of Doctor Who. I don't like it. But anyway, if we could roll back time and go on a DeLorean and Back to the Future, and you see a breakout here, add a whole number, the long trigger would be, say, 1440, 1450. Now it's slowing down up here, again, right near the 16. So personally, and not a trade recommendation, but I'd be waiting till it broke over minimum 1620 or so before going long, right? We want to see a pullback, consolidation, and then a move up. But that's a good chart, though. Yeah, I like that one. PAAS, thanks. I'm not familiar with that one. A lot of times you guys come up with great charts, so thanks. I appreciate it. Great teamwork, and it's great to see all of you here. I wanted to thank you, for your time and taking a little time out of your Saturdays to join me as I do my ramblings each weekend and we see what the heck is worth trading. So anyway, winners from our small cap advisory, Ego is a winner. From my swing scans, ENPH and Micron have done well for us both in intraday and swing trades. But because the S&P is starting to drop, we might be on the turning point of potential goodness for the inverses. So whatever the inverses are that you like to trade, my three favorites are UGAS, Dust, and TVIX, but there's plenty of them out there. I mean, there's SQQQ. It doesn't have quite the leverage, but we do have name that candle pattern. Large green candle wrapped around the whole real body of a previous candle near a whole number. What's that candlestick pattern called? Pardon me while I drink a little coffee. I need my caffeine. Wearing a comfortable Tommy Bahama silk shirt. Highly recommend these two Tommy Bahama silk shirts. They're pricey at about $100 each. I got a whole closet full of them. They're mostly black, right? But got this olive one there. It's good summer wear. I used to wear this at poker championships in Vegas all the time and do these 12 and 16-hour stretches. It's totally comfortable. Yeah, bullish engulfing, you're right. You see, I think that's about it. That's true, Mark. You do have to dry clean. Very true. but they're comfortable. I like silk shirts. All right, well, thanks everybody for being here. I do appreciate it. Do stay frosty out there. Keep an eye out for not only strong trending gold instruments, but the inverses that were all up yesterday, right, on the market weakness. It's a kind of a, I always use the phrase poker tell. I've been trying to day trade UWT versus DWT with mixed results. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I've been finding better volatility in the gold sector, so we'll see where things go. But oil's not going anywhere. Oil's been quiet. Other sectors are also kind of on the fence, kind of waiting to see. Remember too, next week, by the way, is going to be a GAPS RS kind of a week because we got a lot of earnings, a significant earnings week next week, and a lot of earnings releases that leads to a lot of gaps. Remember, whatever you do, do not hold overnight swing trades into earnings releases. Thou shalt not hold overnight into earnings releases unless you want to potentially take a haircut on an earnings miss. So we're going to have a lot of gaps to capitalize on next week in the live room. I hope that all of you can join me for that. And I wanted to thank you all for being here. We just wrap up with a very mercifully brief commercial message here.